The scene wasn't entirely unfamiliar to fireman John Schlangen. It may be an oversimplification of what he did, but his crew was here to put some wet stuff on the red stuff. You see, John was one of 300 men on the line that day in the Brimson Complex fire. At the time, 150 homes had been destroyed and the 50 miles of forest land burned in this Minnesota fire. Industrial-grade hoses were pulled from their resting spot on fire trucks, and rescue efforts were underway to save a home that they had encountered. This is what John and his team worked on as they spotted the house just next door fully engulfed in flames. But John's work was hot, sweaty, demanding, but there were perks when safety and rescue met. And it did that day, but not entirely the way John expected. The fire crew discovered that siding, located in a stack to the side of the house, was on fire. Now, this was a newer home that was in the advanced stages of being built. It would be a significant blow to Micalla Schillip. You see, Micalla had worked on the home for 3 years before the blaze. She had escaped through 15-foot flames earlier that day, bringing all the critters on her property that she could find. Now, would her home be added to the count that would be mentioned in news reports when it came to destroyed homes? All Micalla could do was wait, hope, pray. The unknown bothered her most. In the midst of the sound of a wildfire consuming timber, John noticed something unusual. And what happened next would be a story he would easily recall from his time on this particular fire line. Out of the thick smoke staggered a redhead, and John would later learn her name was Reba. She found a spot out of the smoke and fire near the fire truck. By the time John moved to check on this unexpected survivor, Reba had climbed under the truck, nursing wounds and defying odds. Well, that day, Micalla's home survived, and so did her friend Reba, the one who had been unintentionally left behind. Once the fire crew was ready to end their shift for the day, John had to calmly coax Reba from her hiding place. He would apply first aid until someone with more skill could attend to this pretty little redhead. She had suffered some burns and had been singed. But Reba? Why, she's a survivor. Of course, Micalla was emotional about the rescue of her friend, and Micalla was emotional about unintentionally leaving her behind. After the fire, it was discovered that Reba is expecting, and her wounds are healed. Of course, she was thrilled to be rescued. She's happy to have the companionship of her friend Micalla. And John? Well, he'll always remember how he was called on to help rescue a young lady named Reba. And he just did what firefighting heroes do. This is just one story from the many that came from the Brimson Complex fire. But it's the tale of an unlikely survivor and the firefighter who rescued a red-headed chicken named Reba. And this will be a story shared from time to time at the Two Harbors Fire Hall, where John serves in a leadership role. And what makes it a great story is that Reba's future has a backstory.